I'm tired of paying attention to the news. I'm tired of the carousel of panic meant to manipulate me. I'm tired of the normie who can just consume the news once and move on. You see, to know the truth, you have to do double the work. You have to learn the narrative, and then find the counter-narrative, and then learn the lies, and then learn the truth. And this Ukraine stuff is insane, because literally every single thing about it is a lie. It's literally all propaganda. It's all BS. All of it. And it's unbearable. The day of Putin's invasion into Russia, he called the US and its allies an empire of lies. And then ever since then, it's been like a competition to see who can prove him right the fastest. First off, as an American, I don't care about Ukraine. Historically, it's been a corrupt client state that did all the dirty work for the Bidens, and Biden is compromised by his relationship with them. That's all I know about it. It's not some great country worth giving two craps about, much less going to war over. And I just don't have the mental bandwidth on this one to care, no matter how hard it's pushed on me. But you see, Americans are retarded, and we have this ridiculous habit. And our country, faced with issues that actually matter, like homelessness or mental illness spilling out into the streets or the shoplifting we see in places like San Francisco, we couldn't care less. If some homeless guy is naked with a knife and he's in a street fight with a cop, we'll either just ignore it and keep moving, or take out our phone and just record it. But God forbid we personally get involved. We are terrified of doing that. We are pros at ignoring awkward situations if they don't directly involve us. If our neighbors are having some domestic dispute, we don't dare get involved. We call somebody else. That's somebody else's problem. There's a real lack of trust and a lack of compassion for your fellow citizen. We really don't care about each other. But when it comes to war and other nations and other people's kids and other people's tax dollars and other people's lives, well then suddenly we're all in, and we care a lot. Putin is like our neighbor who's having a domestic dispute. He's always getting into it with his lady Ukraine. It's happened a lot over the years. They fight, they break up, they get back together, they fight. His ex, Crimea, gets involved sometimes, and we just ignore it. I mean, we're tough, and we have guns, but Putin seems a little tougher and has a lot more guns, and we haven't worked out in about 20 years. But now we're told it's this time that we can't let it go. Oh sure, every other time and every other instance we've let it go, but not this time. The economy, the border, the supply chain, inflation, CRT, COVID restrictions, food prices, the insane housing market, or the homeless encampments that have popped up in every major city, well, that can all go on hold while we focus on the things that really matter, like Ukraine. And it matters so much to the people that had no idea what Ukraine was before last week, or knew where it was on a map, or what the colors were on their flag. Nobody cared until right now, when they were told to care. Russia is just the same old target for people's 2 minutes hate. Look at the State of the Union. It's shameful. Imagine the shame in having leaders that treat your country like a 3-year-old who's done playing with a toy and then just throws it away and moves on to the next toy, the next scheme, the next money-making ploy. There was more support for stupid Ukraine than for here. That's great. And we'll call for full-on war with the world's biggest nuclear power. No questions asked. We even advocate assassinating Putin on Twitter. No questions asked. And who's going to be our great military leader in case all this breaks out into World War III? Oh yeah, Joe Biden, whose biggest security threat is a slippery tub. You see how ridiculous and see-through all of this is? So pardon me if I don't care about Ukraine, because it's also exhausting and hyperbolic and fear porn. It's designed to be confusing. It's designed to be wrong right off the bat. It's designed to change course 17 times during the day. That's to keep you in a certain state that they can then use against you to maintain artificial levels of consent for the war crimes they're going to commit while getting rich at the same time. Gotta love liberal democracy, am I right? And keep this in mind. This is all so serious, so disastrous for humanity, so Hitler-esque and completely unacceptable that, like if a black man were denied a bathroom at a Subway somewhere in the country, that would take over the news for another week. That would be a bigger example of a threat to democracy, a bigger example of white supremacy. They'd figure out a way to tie Russia to it all, and people would pivot on a dime to change their profile pics from a Ukrainian flag to like a Black Lives Matter Ukrainian flag. Keep all of this in mind when you hear people on the right say that people are waking up to the lies of the mainstream media, because it's just not true. How many Republicans have fallen for this Ukrainian scam? Most of them. If you're putting your hope in people waking up to how the sausage is made, well, then you are setting yourself up to be disappointed every time. Remember that people aren't serious. They're morons. And that the powers that be are putting the spotlight on this because they know that they can manipulate you and enrich themselves with it. Step over it and move on. Anyways, that's all the time I have for today. If you like this video and type of content I'm making, consider giving this video a like or maybe subscribing. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.